All right, everybody. How's everybody doing? Am I coming in? Okay, I can hear myself. Sounds good. I can hear myself. That's all that matters. How is everybody doing this fine Saturday, January 18th? If you don't see it live and you're in the chat and don't realize what day it is. Let's see who's Ryan West opening the doors again. That guy is the king of opening the door for this chat. Morning, Joe. Good to see you, man. Thanks for the BSRCon wishes. Matt, good to see you. Wayne, where's his pick up here? And it picks up at Matt. Here we go. Matt, good to see you. Wayne, morning. Shambot, morning. Orcus Dorcas is here. Complaining about the service at the hotel, are you? No continental breakfast. That's extra. Well, that's extra, buddy. Hey, you get what you pay for. As Joe would say, talk to management. Oh, you guys are too funny. Nubis, good to see ya. Good afternoon. Laramie. All right, Keith. Good morning. Tad, morning. All right. We may have a low turnout today. And you're probably like, how do you know that, Sean? Well, there's folks that are playing at BSRCon. BSRCon, well, how come I didn't know about this? How come you don't promote that very often? And I kept it on the kind of on the down low this year. We've got about 80 badges around that purchased. And it's an online con that we do. I help administer and facilitate, I will say, every January. And so there's a few people that are probably either playing right now or prepping to play. So this one's going to be probably an hour because I have to do a little prep. And the reason I have to do a little prep is because I have to make sure everything is good because I'm playing in a game. And then I have a very small window, which probably leads me to have to deal with home stuff like dogs and cats and stuff and then run the game. So it's not like I have a 4-hour window before I run this one. It's been a while since I've run. The next game I'm running is Alice is Missing. So I ran Deathmatch Island last night. It went okay. I was surprised. I've run it twice in person, but going to online can be a little bit of a bigger difference. When you do handouts, you're not just handing them. You have to put them somewhere. And then, of course, the character sheets that I had were not, you couldn't write in them. And then I used Roll20. Well, I haven't used Roll20 for Deathmatch Island before, so that was a thing. So it was good. It went all right. Played with 3 people I've never played with before, which is good. Usually I've played in games where I've only had one person that I've never played with online on BSRCon. So if you are attending or if you've bought a badge and you hope to attend and you can't, or you are playing, great, thanks. If not, that's okay. Not a big deal. I also donate, I think it's so it's $5 a badge. All the events are free. And I donate half of the proceeds to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Although this year I may change that, which is kind of weird. I don't know if it's uncouth to change the charity when you've already decided on it ahead of time. Because then some people might say, well, it's for charity, for that charity. Okay. And wait a minute, hold on. If he was going to switch it, I wouldn't. I don't think people are that jaded or shallow, but you never know. So I may do it for California and all those folks that are enduring some pretty crazy times out there. Stay safe, California. Orcus Dorcas seems to be okay, so that's good. Mr. Hobbs, whoop whoop. He's running a game. Gabe, good to see you. Morning. Michael, good to see you. 6 to 8 inches of snow in Georgia. What? Get out of here. That's crazy. In 6 to 8? Really? We're going to get cold as hell up here. Michael, you should know that. He's from here. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, high of 2. I think it's I should did a screenshot. Monday, 2. Tuesday, 2. Wednesday 2. Like 2. 2? Ugh. Here again morning. Look at this. Yeah, dogs. Dogs will do that. Well, it's good to see. I know. Man, I would just hope things turn around for you, dude. Here again, professionally running into some things that he's having to deal with at the day job, which is, and when I say some things, I'm putting it lightly. Poor guy has been working a lot of hours and trying to fix things. Evil Merlin, good to see you. I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. Saltheart, New England, good to see you. Flint, good to see you. They are that jaded and shallow. Well, some of them are. Too funny. I do have some news queued up. I don't know if I want to talk about it. I don't know if I want to do the same standard format. I want to maybe do some freewheeling. I don't usually, we come across something that comes up and then we kind of ramble on it, riff on it for a while. But I don't usually just leave it completely open. Okay, let's talk about something crazy, whatever's people's minds. I don't have a question of the day. Not sure. I was talking about last night, a few of us were hanging out after games. Uh-oh, going off. Yeah, good. Philly Phil from not Philadelphia. Freewheeling, that's me. Freewheeling. Did you get an email about subscribing to Melsonia Council? I don't think so. Am I missing something on that one? I don't think I did. I'm missing the reference, right? I gotta admit. Freewheel it. All right. I'm okay. So last night, a few of us were talking about the podcast scene, RPG podcast scene. We're kind of weighing in on our opinions and some of the things we may or may not listen to. And I have picked up the YouTube pace recently, and I just got done editing a video, and it's okay, right? Like the West Marches video, if you haven't watched it, great. Okay. If you have, great. And it's one that, I got more traffic to that one video quicker than I did ones that have been out there for 4 years. And that's not unlikely for YouTube, right? Because that old one is probably just getting traffic that if somebody comes across my profile, goes back to the back catalog and just finds something interesting, or they're doing a Google search and that one bubbled up. But the West Marches one, and I didn't think the West Marches one was all that great. It's very elementary, very much like, well, no shit, you got to get players. So for some, it'll be like, this is pretty like, but I didn't want to do one on, hey, it's about, there's this guy named Ben Robbins and he came up with this concept and here are the 4 principles, because there's so much stuff that's out there that somebody, and that's what a lot of it was about. And I was doing research and I didn't find the meat and potatoes of the tools and how people got things off the ground. So I kind of wanted to lean on that a bit, and it did pretty well. My point of this ramble is I talked about the RPG YouTube scene, and how there's different things going on in that ecosystem. And I'm not even like, dude, there's YouTubers that have 80,000 subscribers I've never heard of. And that's not them or YouTube. That's probably a Sean thing or whatever. And then there are some that keep popping up in my stream all the time that drive me absolutely bonkers. And I'm like, dude, why do you keep feeding me this video? Whatever. And so it was kind of what do I want to do with this channel? And I've thought about this in the past, and I brought it up very briefly, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll see. But I wanted to pick it up, and I feel as though I don't want to regurgitate some of the stuff that's still out there. And I think some of you come here and you watch my videos because you know who I am, and you may not even really care for the subject matter or whatever, but you're friends, personal friends of mine, and you support me and you want to check it out and it's good. Some you might say, oh, that was pretty cool. Man, I didn't really care for that one. Which is fine. Like if you're a creator, you got to put your head out. You got to put your neck out there and, take the knocks and the bumps and the bruises. So anyways, part of that was kind of on my mind the last few hours. Like some of us conversed about less than 12 hours ago, and now it didn't keep me up, okay? But it is something where I got up this morning, I'm like, all right, get the dogs done, feed the cats. I got to prep for Alice, and then what am I going to talk about during the live stream? So, and it doesn't have to be about YouTube. I guess the thing is like, podcasts are, there's a lot. There's a lot of podcasts. There's a lot of YouTube videos. There's a lot of blogs. And so, somebody will say, well, Sean, why are you doing it? Like, what's the why would you do something? Why would somebody blog? Why are you blogging? Right? Or why are you doing the podcast? And some just do it as a passion. Like, I just feel it's a great creative outlet for me. And part of why I do like videos, like recorded videos, has something to do with that. Like it does unlock a few things in my brain, and putting stuff out there, trying a different approach. And some videos are very different from others. Like the Vason one that I did was, I don't know, not looking to grow to like 1 million subscribers, although that would be great, but it's not the end goal. I think there's a few moving parts of it. But it's kind of like even when you create an RPG supplement or create an RPG or whatever it is, like what you might face some of the same things. So anyways, there you go. Everybody's like, what's the question today? I don't know. Farty, where'd Farty come in? Where is he? There he is. Good to see you, Nelson. So you're trying to figure out YouTube. Yeah, no, I don't know. No, it's not figuring out YouTube. So here, there's a video, to get specific, Flint, there was a video that I came across that I thought was really good. And I don't tune into this guy at all. And he was talking about there was a gentleman, that the English gentleman who did like, how to be a great GM or DM, I think is his channel or something like that. And he was talking about, if you didn't catch the video, it was talking about him meeting with YouTube people, and they said, "Hey, we're not gonna promote any more of your channel." That's what he said. I don't know, whatever. I don't know how many people have access to YouTube staff, and that they would just, hey, we want to have a sit down. Just so you know, we're not going to promote any more of your stuff. So, sorry. And so now he's pivoting to doing more Star Trek stuff. And he's been around a long time. He's been doing it a long time. And Professor Dungeon Master has talked about this before. So this guy kind of tapped into that, like, what are you talking about? Like, why? What do you mean YouTube's like squashing D&D or your channel? And went into really how YouTube works. And he had a few takes, I guess you could say. Some would say like, well, then, you get hit, it's clickbait, right? And then he would say, well, that's not clickbait because the thumbnail is something and it's a subject matter that he talks about it. But it does, and that's, I don't know. I'm just sitting up here talking. I don't know what I'm doing. No more freewheeling. Yeah. Gabe, do some YouTubers have the capacity to promote their channels with money? Professor DM is always getting pushed at me, and I've watched exactly one video years ago. They don't. They can't pay. It's not a pay to play platform. search, like Google and YouTube, I mean, Google bought YouTube, so it's part of the Google ecosystem. But if anybody understands how search and SEO works and how that translates to even just YouTube, Google ABC, right, the parent company, along with Google and YouTube and anything else that they probably have, they benefit from you being on the internet a long time. They benefit from providing you a good experience. And when I mean that, what that means is if you go on YouTube and you do a search and they serve you up something, they want to serve you up something that you're looking for, that you have a desire to watch or a desire to click. That's search. People try to game that, right? How do I get higher up in the search rankings? How do I do that, Sean? Well, you got to have, good keywords. You got to have good content, in the olden days of search and SEO, and there still is to this day, it's called like the how do they call it? The black methods or whatever, where people try to game it. So what they do is they keyword stuff. And so what happens is you click on that, you go there, you look at it, and it's like, this isn't what I want. And Google has constantly tried to change their algorithm to prevent that from happening. So essentially, they want it as a good experience, because the minute it's a bad experience, then you stop using their services. You stop using their search. They keep giving me crap that I'm not looking for. Well, that's a problem. YouTube is a unique beast because, to your point, Gabe, why is this one video keep showing up in my stream when I've only watched like one of his videos? And for that, I don't know, because I'm sure there's a whole butt ton of data points. I'm sure it's what videos are you watching? What, like somewhere it knows you're a gamer somehow. Maybe you clicked on one RPG video, therefore it's labeled you as a gamer. The more you do that, the more solid of a gamer that you are. If I fit your similar profile, like you and I, say we're about the same age and the same demographic in the same area of the country, and it triangulates all that info, and I'm a big fan of Professor DM or whoever, then they will automatically assume that you might be. And so it serves it up to you in your feed. And the biggest beef that I think some people have with YouTube specifically, especially like creators over time, is it used to be where you subscribed. And when you went to YouTube, you would have your list of subscriptions, and it would just say, whoever out of that list had a new video, you would get like either notified or it would show up there. The thing is that YouTube implemented a feed. And so then what was happening is a lot of us probably aren't even checking the people we subscribe to anymore. Unless you go to the subscribe tab, it may feed you the person's video that you subscribe to, but subscriptions aren't the thing for us that we're tuning into. So what they're trying to do is kind of serve things up in addition to the subscription model. So it's kind of like, well, we already know you subscribe to these guys. Okay, we get it. But we're going to just keep putting in a feed of a bunch of other stuff that may interest you in an effort to maybe say, so here would be Google's strategy, right? If you're only subscribed to Sean as his channel, and that's the only thing you go to YouTube for, and I put out a video every month, then you're only going to YouTube once a month to watch Sean. Ideally, YouTube obviously wants to feed you more stuff. So if you're like, hey, we know that you also like cooking. Oh, and hey, we know you also like, maybe you may also like this other stuff. So we're going to feed it to you in order to keep you there. So for YouTube, it only makes sense for them to create a feed with a bunch of stuff that may interest you in order to keep you on the platform longer. And then of course there's the liking, subscribing, commenting, right? So that's engagement. So that means like, that's why some people will, leave a comment, because then it's not like going there and clicking right off, even if it's after 5 minutes, right? Like, I can't stand this thing, I'm going to boogie. But if you've gone through the effort to do something, and then all that is tallied up, and then it's sold to advertisers. And then YouTubers make money based off of ad revenue, that's complicated, but they would pay a YouTuber based on the amount of engagement. So like Mr. Beast, the biggest YouTuber, like he's number one, maybe number two. There's always one going back and forth. I mean, so, if he gets a video and launches and it gets 30 million people in 24 hours, that is high dollar amount, right? Because if I pay for an advertisement and it gets on Mr. Beast's, they inject an ad there, it's going to cost more. And so YouTube will do that. So when advertisers get put on my channel, it doesn't hardly cost them anything. And then I get a sliver of that, right? Somewhere. That's kind of the model. People say they want insightful and constructive RPG content, but what the numbers show is they really want RPG drama. And I think that is kind of at the core. Like, despite some of, whether it's clickbait or not, drama sells. It's social media. It's Blue Sky. I had to laugh. There's drama on that site and people are like, oh, this is great. It's like, hey, it's like the other site without any of the drama. And then you give it a while and the drama comes over. Like it inevitably does because it's social media. It's the same thing. It's the same format. You post and people could see it and they can comment and wreak havoc and then they can spread it around and say how much of an a-hole you are. And then they can prevent you from seeing it and do a screenshot and resave that and say, hey, don't follow this guy. And then that just explodes. That's going to happen on any social media site. The way to prevent that is just not be on social media. So YouTube isn't completely and entirely different to Orcus's point. Like it's what? What? Oh, I got to watch this. What is this? It is the weird thing about, it's such a, like, I don't have a degree in sociology, but sociology, psychology, it's got to be just like, well, that's what today's world is. People want to tune into like the train wreck. So I will say this, having said that, because I wholly agree with you, Orcus. And you could see it. You could pull up people's channels. Professor Dungeon Master has been doing it a long time. He's got a decent amount of subscribership. And you can you click on the person's video tab and it'll show all the videos. And if you scroll back to all the earlier videos and then look at the more recent ones, you can visibly see the difference of the different thumbnails, the subject matter. Even though he'll say, well, I just did a video on doing this and how to, create that. Dude, that thing is buried amongst everything else that he's talking about. And so people accuse him of being clickbaity. I would say that he's just pivoting to, well, what gets the views? And I got to imagine he's looking at things and all of a sudden he's like, ooh, 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 ooh. And he's just seeing that spike. And he's like, hey. YouTube even has an inspiration tab for creators where if you click on it, it'll take everything that you've done well and say, here are some suggestions. So it's just like, if you got something like, oh, the OGL scandal was a big freaking mess and Wizards is the Antichrist, and that video did really well, well, guess what? YouTube's going to say, hey, you should maybe think of something else that's almost similar to this. And then you do, and you put it out a thumbnail, and people are like, oh, what? Pinkertons? Oh, I gotta watch that. And then they watch that, and then your subscribership goes through the roof. And that's whatever. I don't want to get into that. Like, that's not, like, I don't want to play that game. And I would hope that you guys would hold my feet to the fire and be like, I mean, I would have absolutely no problem saying, like, here's some alternatives to D&D. Here's why you should play other games that aren't D&D. If you keep complaining about D&D, well, here are some other things that you can explore. I think that is something that good creators could and should do unless they're in the D&D ecosystem. Because there's a weird dynamic that I'm like why? I mean, it's where the money is. Let's face it, that's where the money is. If I asked any D&D creator, not necessarily. Some would say, well, Bob, the dungeon guy, world builder, he's played other games, and his most recent video was literally on everything else other than D&D. He played like 20 games, and he ranks them, and he's like, these are the games I really like and appreciate, and none of them are D&D. And I give him credit because there's some in that ecosystem that just, it's D&D all day, every day. It doesn't matter. And that's okay because they might have a passion for D&D, but there's so much more out there. I don't know, whatever. There's a lot of motivation to do whatever the hell they like. Yeah. Also, that Rager, the WotC scandal just got worse. Never clicked on that one. Right. Exactly. What, it got worse? I got to know. What's that about? And I'll tell you this. If you find that those are being served to you all the time, you can actually click next, like there's the three ellipses. And I think you could say, don't show me this content ever again. And I think it's not a block, but you're telling them, dude, I'm done getting these from this channel, and it won't come up in your stream anymore. And I think that is the way to go, because I think there is a underlying temptation, not for everyone, but sometimes it's an underlying temptation to say, oh, they screwed up again. Well, I definitely got to tune into that because, what a train wreck. It's going to be a good laugh, or, oh, the absurdity, or I'm so appalled, and, oh, I'm so angry. Like, yeah, let's get up the masses and just, Elon Musk should have, like, his thing should have never hit the RPG, the RPG world. Like, it is non-news. And here now I'm talking about it, right? So, like, the irony is not lost on me. The hypocrisy is not lost on me. But to, like, dedicate a whole 15-minute YouTube video because Elon Musk put out a tweet that was like, I'm thinking about, I should buy Wizards. I should buy Hasbro because of what they put in an intro in a book. I mean, come on. And people got super pissed. Like, they're still, oh, that guy just is unnerving. Like, I would move to Canada if he bought D&D. Like, it's not that, you're giving it too much credit. Too much credit. Giving it, like, what? Like, sometimes I think if we just didn't give a shit about half of that ridiculousness, you don't give it any weight. It becomes a big issue because you give it weight. And, wow, man. Anyways, I'm just making different flavors of bubblegum on my channel, hoping someone likes a flavor. There you go. Yeah. Matt, I ran a podcast for 3 years. Sometimes you think about how saturated the chosen pod genre is, and if you feel you are contributing to phoning it in. The years that Brett and I did it, I never cared about whether, like, it didn't occur to me, like, some of this thinking never really occurred to me that I could think of. Like, because I always thought we're never going to be insert huge podcaster show. Like, RPG space, I mean, I don't know what Fear the Boot gets. And the only reason I picked those guys out of a bucket is because they've been around the longest. I don't know. Critical Role is probably one of the bigger ones in the D&D ecosystem as far as podcast goes. Discovery sucks in podcasts. It's so hard to get discovered. That's why it was so important for us as a call to action to just say, tell somebody about this show. That's it. Like, reviews are not the way to go. Yeah, keep writing reviews. It gets your podcast nowhere. Got to ask for your listenership to share it, because podcasts doesn't have a YouTube discovery mechanism. Spotify might now a little bit, but Apple, no way. Not even, I mean, it did, but it's not. It would just say people who listen to this also listen to this. That's not discovery like YouTube is. But I think the strength with RPG podcasts is the uniqueness of the person, the people, like the chemistry, the subject matter as well. But the thing is with podcasts, so I think even having done that podcast, Gaming and BS, if you're not in the know, I knew I would have best friends like Jeff, best friend, known that guy for going on 46 years. He will not listen to it and not listen to it. He may not listen to podcasts. And okay, that's not a big deal, but some stranger in, Slovenia will listen to it. So it's like you kind of just have to take it for what it's worth. Like some people are going to just enjoy it and it's going to click, right? It's meeting a person, and we all meet a lot of different people, and we are inherently attracted to the person. And I mean, not like, oh, hey, that guy's hot. I mean by like, I can tolerate them. I can talk to them. I think we have some common things we can talk about, and I enjoy their company. And then there are people that we can't stand, and we can insert any reason we want about why we can't stand them. Maybe their ego is out of control. Even folks that have like, that person is so putrid. How can you even tolerate them? And they do. So it's like that chemistry, I think, is what feeds podcasts. And I think that's also for YouTubers as well. I really do. And I don't think that's just isolated to podcasting. So you just accept that. Like, we're going to get the folks that listen to us and they're going to bounce, or they're going to be folks that I get to know, become friends, game with them. They come to conventions. We get together. And, I was just talking about that last night too. Like we had people that would call into the show almost on a weekly basis, write an email. They would come out to the convention, see Brett and I, and some of those folks are gone. Like, I haven't seen some of them for years. And, but the podcast hasn't been around for years. So like with the podcast goes, so do some of the folks. And that's just life. I bring it up, it's kind of waxing poetic because, I really enjoyed meeting a lot of those individuals, and I hope they're doing well, but why would I expect them to be like, on the BS Landia Discord every day or every week? Like, they've got other things going on. And, Brett, it wasn't the Sean podcast featuring Brett. It was Brett and Sean. And so some people clicked with Brett more than me, vice versa. We would have to know that. Like, hey, I'm Team Brett. What can I say? Sean's kind of a joker. I don't get it. He doesn't take anything seriously. I like Brett's approach. He's kind of, the points he comes on, he's like Johnny on the spot, right? So that's the package. That's the package deal, right? Woof. There's been a number of YouTubers that have dropped off recently. Well, and you're kind of at the problem is when you put all your eggs in one basket, and YouTube, say advertising takes a hit. So I don't know, take General Motors, they advertise on YouTube and they decide, you know what, we're going to diversify our advertising portfolio, or we're going to reel it back and we're going to be more selective. That all impacts everything on YouTube. If you're doing AdSense, which is what YouTube provides you as a monetary compensation, right, for your creativity and your stuff, if you don't diversify in, like Mr. Beast does candy bars, he's got like a burger joint that he opened. He's getting pinged by Amazon to do a game show, and he's getting paid for that. He's probably got merch coming out of his ears too. And so he isn't relying all on YouTube for everything. The smaller folks might be like, well, that's if I don't get if I don't get a decent ad revenue check or AdSense check, like it's gonna hurt. And I think the folks, like I have 1,600 subscribers. Dude, that's nothing. That's like, for me, it's like, but some of those mid-tier ones that have maybe 100,000, 200, 500,000, yeah, that can really like make their paychecks fluctuate. The bigger juggernauts, Marquez Brownlee and some other folks that you probably are privy to that have like 10 million or more individuals following them or subscribing, they probably have like courses and, Ali Abdal, I follow every once in a while. He's a productivity guy. He's got a book out. He does courses. You can't just rely on YouTube at some point when you're really big, especially when you get so big and you hire like 5 staff. It's a business at that point. I'm familiar with the YouTube channels you are discussing. Okay, good. Ryan says, I treat my channel like a hobby. I know I could make numbers by perpetuating clickbait and drama, but I just do it for fun and for the love and hobby and the occasional free book, which is great. And that's what I want to do. Part of that, though, like, that's great. And the stream has always been that for me. This has always been that. Like, I could do this till the cows come home, and as long as somebody shows up in the chat to give me grief, like Orcus and the rest of you, like, I don't even turn on ad revenue for the stream, which I can do. I don't do that. And so that's the passion. But for the creative piece, I think it's like not regurgitating the same thing for me personally. It's got to be like, I think also I've done videos where it's like, I know Sean, that his video of what he did there is different than his YouTube stream. Like, it's a different thing. He's I don't want to say he's a different guy, but it is like, some of it's very scripted. And I don't like it that much. And if I don't like it, that's a problem. Because it's got to start here. And then when it goes out, you like it, you do great. If you don't, so be it. Ugh. Yeah, there you go. Nubis mentioned it. I don't want in my feed. It actually works. Yes, I would definitely do that. But they can engineer thumbnails and titles. So with thumbnails and titles, if you talk to any YouTuber or if you talk to any like how to do YouTube correctly, even Mr. Beast, he will tell you the YouTube is more important than the content. Because if you can never get anybody to click on the video, you can't even get them through the door if you can't attract them to the door. And so that's a huge deal. You can do A/B testing in YouTube. So I could put up a video and I could put in three different thumbnails, which I've done on some videos. And it has to go through a certain amount of time and a certain amount of views before it determines like, this is the best one that's performing better. Serve this one up better. It's such a weird one because there's let's face it, folks, YouTube is judging a book by its cover. Like, there's no question. The thumbnail and the title gets you. And some of us know that there are channels that really crappy thumbnails and titles. Like, I don't know, let's take a picture of my desk with a piece of paper and a pen and then put a title to it. And it's like, what? And it's actually, some even just have an auto-generated thumbnail. It's like, what is that garbage? And then, Harrigan says clickbait titles. Hey, all, Doc Flamingo, we're just riffing on, like, I don't know, stuff. YouTube and podcasts. Maybe not deep RPG conversation. If this is the first stream you ever tune in, I'm sorry. This is not a usual week. Do me a favor, come back next week, and it'll be a little bit more back to quote-unquote normal, I think, whatever normal means. You could buy advertising there, sponsored videos. That's interesting. I bought a few weeks to have my video post up in English-speaking countries. I did not know that. That makes sense. So yes, I guess you can pay to play, to Gabe's question. And it's like pay per click, and it would be like if you were paying for I want to promote my blog on Google, and it's pay-per-click. I don't know how YouTube works, like paying for AdSense on YouTube. I can't imagine that it's not much different. Like you probably pick a few keywords and a few different subjects, and then you get charged per how popular it is, and then how many impressions. And then the thing is with that is like you got to have a pretty decent budget to make an impact. And if you don't, you can get it eaten up very quickly. Like in one day, we've served up all your ads and ate through your budget because you only had $50 a day. $50 a day, whew, that could be a lot of money for some people. Fortunately, the not interested in this channel feature does work like Nubis said. Giving a video thumbs down is engagement. It is. I don't think what I mentioned is. No. I think it's just setting your YouTube account basically. Yes, I would agree. Yes, doing a thumbs down doesn't probably hurt my channel. I don't think. Unless it's an overwhelming, like everybody that's done thumbs down, then it might say, well, everybody that has done that is a certain profile, so we don't want to serve that up to other people that would find a thumbs down. But it's still engagement. But the method Nubis talks is like, that will, all right, sounds good. We'll never serve you up that channel again. This Biffing Brit has some good videos on the YouTube. YouTube can be gamed. Interesting. Dren, good to see you. Bad week to join and show up. We're just talking about RPG, like more YouTubing and podcasts, as it relates to the RPG space, I guess, ideally. So I apologize if you've shown up to, hey man, I'm here to talk about some RPGs and some bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. I hate to be in PDM's shoes, Professor Dungeon Master, because he says, and have to whine every time I drop clickbait because no one watches his other videos. I've talked with Seth Skorkowski about that quite a bit about this. Yeah. He's proven case you don't need to feed the algorithm if you make good content, and don't be overly concerned with the numbers. Seth has also been doing it quite a long time. And I don't know, I don't want to say like, well, it's because he did it's because he started like 20 years ago and nobody was on there. There is something to be said about being an early adopter, establishing an audience, and then it's a trick to keep the audience. I live in my subscriptions tab, which is good. Sean's going to have to do the Ryan impression, guys. Talk about YouTube, and I came here for games. I can't believe this guy's just like talking about YouTube and RPG podcast. Why don't we gotta talk about like rules and settings and stuff? Wait for a keyboard. Inshitification is the question of the day. Too funny. Totally shooting from the hip today. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't. That's another thing. No, so I'll put it out to you guys. I'll put it out to you guys. I'll put it out to you. Good, bad, indifferent. I would be interested to know, and you could DM me, right? Like you can just say, "Hey, Sean, I want to talk to you. I want to share some feedback." There's somebody. He may be in the chat. I don't know if he is today. He might be. He might have bailed, but he's local, and he and I have talked. We've met. And he's given me feedback. And I know he likes natural Sean guy. Like he shows up to the stream. I just don't know if I can put out videos that are like this. Like sometimes it'd be like, what? Who is this guy? Although I may lean towards it. I don't know. There's some videos I've been watching. Like one guy's like, you're doing it wrong. If you're scripting, you're doing it wrong. If you're doing this, you're doing it wrong. People just want authenticity, which is I totally understand and totally get. Like the person has to feel like they kind of know you and get you. And some of my videos, I don't feel like that's coming across. Like it's very like, dude, who is this guy? Like he just got pumped out of a YouTube factory or something. I get that. So his advice was like, think of talking to your buddy on the telephone, right? And then just the telephone's not there, and be that kind of natural. I don't know. ugh, like some of them are just so ish. I did my recent video, and it's not up. I haven't put it up there. It's on Outcast Silver Raiders. And it's okay if you want to know a little bit about Outcast Silver Raiders. I don't know. Is there another video out there that's probably better? Like Dave Thomavore, he does some great videos. They're well produced. He takes a lot of time to put them out there. It's like top notch. Some of them he appreciates, and some of them he doesn't. But I would give Dave a lot of credit, and he does. He's got a decent subscribership and following. Mine aren't there. If he did one on Outcast Silver Raiders and I did one, his would, I think, be like quote unquote better. And somebody's gonna be like, well, I'm not interested in Outcast Silver Raiders, so I probably wouldn't watch it, Sean. And that's fine. Part of like what I wanted to do with videos around certain games was because if I had a group like the Jeff Gang, and I'm like, hey, I want to run Outcast Silver Raiders for you guys. And they go, well, what's that about, Sean? Here you go. Here you go. Just go watch this video. It'll tell you all about the mechanics. It'll tell you about the setting. And then you let me know if you're interested. And it's like 20 minutes instead of just me regurgitating it. That is usually the frame of mind of what I'm trying to get to. I don't think that comes across, though, very well. This video will go crazy with the numbers. Sean has secretly dropped so many keywords. I don't know if they do audio transcription on that stuff. What Orcus said, do it because you have passion for it. If the passion's gone, take a break or stop. Yeah. I very actively prevent myself from clicking on clickbait videos, and I still click them. Stupid brain. Case in point. And you know what? Thanks for admitting it, Nubis. Right? Like, I get it. Rune Slinger, hey, good to see you. The videos on my channel with the most engagement are instructional. Rule plus page plus explanation plus theory and justification plus example. And the ones with the least are the ones where the discussion tries to help newcomers learn to do that analysis themselves. Mr. Hobbs says it ain't just today. Humanity in general always wants to find out that people's lives are worse than theirs. Yeah, there's a term for that, right? I know for a fact I could get thousands of views if I made a video about the Ben Riggs drama, but the thought of it makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit, pandering to the lowest common denominator. There's one thing I really just want to, like when I talk about being a positive force, I struggle with that sometimes because I don't know if I'm always that guy. And, you know, that could be also a thing, right? Like, who is this guy who thinks he says he's a positive force and then he, talks about how shitty somebody's YouTube channel is? Like, come on, right? Being aware is half the battle. But I definitely don't want to be... If my YouTube videos suck, then they suck. I don't want to get accused of pandering necessarily. Maybe a little bit, I don't know. But I don't want to jump on a bandwagon for views. Like, I don't want to, it sounds dirty and mushy and it's not true to myself. And I wouldn't want to, like, the biggest insult somebody would probably, like I'm giving you guys, never divulge what pushes your buttons. But I'll say it right here. If I ever got accused of, like, not clickbait necessarily, because I think sometimes that could be, sure, and that would be bad. I wouldn't want to do that. But it's also like the drama piece. I don't want to do a piece on drama. And here I am talking about this shit. God damn it. But that's the thing. Like, that's not how I would want Yohi, right? He left Blue Sky. He's the guy from what? Between Two Karens? Who did Ben Milton did the video on his Jewish specific RPG. And he left Blue Sky because he's just like, I don't need this shit. And the amount of people that like that guy that I could gather from like Blue Sky, and I don't even know him. Like, I don't follow him. I don't buy his products. I know his name because it comes up in the ecosystem in the OSR space quite a bit. And the amount of people that were like, who's picking on that guy, right? That's the guy that everybody should aspire to be. Like, everybody should be like, that, what did he do wrong? Like, why is anybody on his case? Like, he's done so much for the hobby in a positive manner. And I think he should be proud of that for what he's done and what he stood for. And he runs an OSR Discord server, and I'm sure he's got a pretty decent following and all that good stuff. And I'm sure for his product, what did he do, Karen? Did he do Karen? What did he do? You guys will remind me. What's he known for? Anyways, that's the way to go. Just imagine what the TTRPG YouTube scene would be like if everyone just went for clicks. Oh, God, terrible, right? I guess I hate money because I won't give YouTube what they want. I've been doing 30-day dungeon a day for 30 days. My inspiration tab tells me to make a dungeon video. Yeah. Marjorie, good to see you. Yes, you do. Mike M. Fundamentally, who cares what people do with their channels? Either watch or do not watch. Fair. True. I mean, as brief and succinct as that is, there is something to be said about that. Like, who cares if everybody clicks on Professor Dungeon Master, right? Or insert YouTuber or controversial, individual. Like, some people would say, well, I don't want to click on that person because I don't agree with their fundamental outlook on, they're a terrible person. They're trying to spread hate or whatever that is. And there's YouTubers that do that. They've hammered on Ginny D. Like, what? Well, I don't understand that. And to your point, Mike, why? What would be the point in doing that? Can fire people up. Yeah, I agree. Ginny D. She only gets people because she's female. All the simps love her. Blah. Well, what do you care? Who gives a shit, right? To like your point. Where did all my chat just disappear to? Interesting. Well, that's cool. What is going on? I can't scroll up. Oh, man. Something got messed up. Anyways. Well, Tinder Pigs is different. We could talk shit all we want, and I could just blame you. There you go. Stefan, good morning. Good to see you. Stefan. It's all right. You picked, some of you folks I don't see very often, so I apologize if you tuned in for some goodness and then get all this kind of dumped on you. I get a ton of listens to our Space 1999 episode for sure. I'm looking forward to it. And the one that I'm really looking forward to, Burning Wheel. One, I'll promote that sucker everywhere. You'll get tens of thousands of listeners to Burning Wheel. Guaranteed, Salt Heart. Just saying. I'm often appalled. It's fun. Aaron, can confirm that I'm not interested button helps. My experience is that it helps me to deliberate search and watch videos you are interested. Here's one thing I will also recommend. If you're on social media, I follow people I really want to kind of tune into on Blue Sky. And then I was like, what? The minute they post anything I cannot stand, literally they're like, the only person I tolerate in their fullest, completely off the hook, in your face, I don't give a shit, is Dennis Detwiller. And sometimes it's because it's Dennis. But otherwise, I'm like, dude, you're nice, but I'm going to mute your stuff because I just can't. Musk just shits tweets out and the media just eats it up. I really hope EU bans Twitter. That would be hilarious. Michael, I'm just tired of the scandals and the drama. I just want to watch and engage with people who love game and playing it. Yeah, thanks. Flint, Dungeon Tubers are writers for the Inquirer, and YouTube is the grocery store checkout line. Stefan, sometimes you got to ignore the toddlers throwing a tantrum. They just want your attention. Well, yeah, true. Well, that's the game with YouTube. Once you get monetized and make a little money, the goal now is to get views and clicks and less about actual content. It's a sticky widget. Wicket. Dorcas knows. He's been doing it a long time. Dorcas. If you haven't checked his channel out, go ahead and do it. If it's not for you, that's okay, but check it out. And then and then hit the 3 ellipses and say that you never want to see it again. But give the guy a fair shake. I mean, come on. Also, check out Titter Pigs. Check out Analytic Dice podcasts. Check out Harrigan's Hearth. Check out Kismet Games. Check out Hobbs's Gamerhood on Twitch when he does live stream, even though he's probably busting my chops all the time. I don't know why I don't even know why I put his stuff out there. Comes in here, busts my chops. All I do is tell people to go watch his Twitch streams. What kind of guy am I? Need a frontal lobotomy here. Who else am I missing? Modoc, he's got his blog, right? Rolling Boxcars. Check that out. Who else am I missing? Michael, where are you? Michael's got one. Ekadokin, he's got a blog out there. I can't remember the title. It's all of these. Some of these are right on our Discord server, the creator area. Removing videos from your history affects the algorithm a bit. Yeah, I don't know. Does it? No, it's just realized I'm way behind on Analytic Dice. Damn. Well, there's a reminder for you. Is this an algorithm show today? Hey, Matt. Kinda. Maybe. It's not for me, algorithm-wise. It's just, I'm almost at time because I got to prep for some games I'm running today, or one game I'm running today, and then I'm playing in a couple. I just didn't want to go on script. So I never really posed it to you, I'll put it to you. So I'm interested in what, I don't know if I ask enough, what appeals to you about RPG space? Is it the stream maybe dude, I just love your stream. It's great. I like showing up to it because I see people in the chat and I interact with them, and I like the RPG news and the crowdfunding and what's coming and what's newly released. I need to understand. I mean, I can look at my analytics, but I don't want to cater to just everybody. I value you guys the most because you're the 1,000 fans or whatever. You only need 100 fans to change the world or whatever. I don't know. Does that make sense? But so I value you. You're my audience. Despite trying to get to 100,000 or 1 million subscribers. Yeah, sure. If I did an avatar and who's my target audience, YouTube, and trying to gain a niche or all that other stuff. But you guys mean more because you show up every week and you're on the Discord or you're following me on social media or whatever it is. So I am more interested to hear your guys' unfiltered, in-your-face feedback. If you were to say what you could, what you could do, Sean, is look at things like this or what have you. I am putting it out there, no promises, not making any promises. I want to tell Sean to do this. It'll be great. I've got my own biases, right? I play certain games that I like, and Spotify does have a discovery check this out recommendation thing. However, you may not appear on it. Fair. Yes, but even Spotify hosts our podcast. It's one of the small sources people listen to our podcast on. Since I added the RS feed to our YouTube, it's Apple and YouTube as the top 2. Interesting. Tim DeShane, this guy. Brett didn't have your hair though. He's got a beard. He's got facial hair. Good to see you, buddy. I'm looking forward to things from you, man. This year, you put out on social, holding your feet to the fire, buddy. Tim DeShane, another one of those I'd love to see every once in a while. Although I follow him on Instagram. Rhode Island. You need different personalities with a podcast. With more than one person, you get a better back and forth. Yes, I think. Solo shows are tough. Anthony does one, right? The Rune Slinger, he's in the chat. He does one. That's not easy. A single podcast show is not easy. So credit where credit is due. The banter does help. I find that if you get 3 or more, it can kind of get who's talking when and what. There is a chemistry that evolves. And I think people can appreciate that for sure. to Stefan's point. I've been thinking like, I don't know if I want to do like YouTube in the traditional sense. I'm like, Seth has done scripted content and done different characters, which I think I like the creativeness behind that. And I think there could be something like that. I don't think there's a lot of people doing that. It takes a lot of work. I find YouTube absolutely fascinating, like in that regard. Like you could do it. Like I find YouTube my new podcasting space, because podcasting is like audio, unfiltered, unregulated. You could do whatever you want. Like even the late night talk show folks, like Conan O'Brien here in the U.S., he's got a YouTube channel and a podcast, and he could do whatever he wants. He could make it as long as he wants or short as he wants. Like typical media, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, they're going to have a guest out. They're going to plug he's going to ask a couple questions. It'll be a weird, awkward back and forth. They're going to promote whatever that person's doing, a movie or a book. And it's kind of like, and now on to the next thing, or there's a commercial break and da-da-da. Or they're going to do some weird game show. Like, dude, YouTube and podcasting, for those guys that are really wanting to get somebody on in the room to talk about stuff, the stuff that Conan O'Brien is dealing with as far as his guests on his YouTube channel or podcast, completely different game than having him on his show. And the thing is, I don't know if it even measures up to the same numbers. He might be getting more than his show ever got. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. So I've been thinking about, like, if I had like 5 people that were just, we should just do this. We could do this like a group, and okay. And then like a YouTube, like a series. I don't know. It's risky. Like what's her name? Felicia Day did with, shoot. I don't remember the show. Somebody's going to say it. I won't remember it. I'd pay for a YouTube product that worked like my podcatcher. There you go. Yeah, something like that, Stefan. Third Coast. This is why most YouTubers have Patreon. Yes. So if YouTube dries up, they keep their community and some income. It's like having a newsletter. Yeah, for sure. Excuse me. Speaking of, like and sub. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it. Like and sub. Like, thumbs down. If you get 10 million followers, you get to broadcast from inside Monty Cook. Ooh, hey, whoa, ooh. Hardest thing I did was an actual interview video and using a script. It just felt so unnatural and wooden, and it wasn't fun. I wasn't a fan, but it was one of more popular videos. Interviews are tough. Oh, it's tough to be a good interviewer. It is really hard. You gotta yeah. I don't know. That's hard. There he is, Michael Holland. Hey, that's the one. My Star Trek Adventures set just arrived. Someone tell Lloyd. Thanks. So Michael has a blog. I can't remember the blog's name. He has one. Morning, William. Eileen, morning. Ryan, saying him, and everybody's saying morning. Okay. Flint. Okay, heading out to my BS Circon Year Zero game. Perfect psych. Woot. Have a good day, everyone. See you, Flint. Thanks for coming to the chat. Thanks for coming to the con. Much appreciated. Thanks for the comments. And have fun. Hope you're having fun. Natural, not scripted. I mean, wasn't that the pod? It was. We didn't have a topic. YouTube's different. I feel people could put like a podcast on and somebody could just talk and they could walk their dog and drive down the road, and it's different. Like YouTube's weird, like a weird beast in that regard. I don't know I'll try it. It is the co-host thing is probably what helped. Scripted versus natural sounds like box text as bullet points in RPG modules. Yeah. Oh, shit. Sean, being a positive force is a goal, not a destination. You don't have to dog yourself for not always hitting the target. Well, I appreciate that. I think we hold a lot of people to pretty high standards nowadays. I mean, dude, you mess up something and they're like walking you out the door of the internet. And Some people might rightfully deserve it, but man, I don't know, man. Journey before destination. Indeed. Yeah. We'll do the dogging, no worries. Thaumavord does in-depth, well-produced, but I'd love pithier, shorter explanations. Something 10 that I think that I could link folks I'm trying to interest for a one-shot. Yeah. Newsflash, this just in, Sean is human. Right? There is. And I appreciate videos where people share useful details about the games they are trying. I think that's another key. Like, there's a debate. Orcus has been in on this. Like, hey, should the person doing a review should they have actually played the game? So there is merit to that. I'm on the fence one way or the other. I think an overview is okay, but I don't think an overview is a review. Like, I don't know if you could say this game is good because if you haven't played it. If they say this game does this, okay, like this is the mechanics, great. The art, here's the art. But saying like this game sucks and then never having played it, Yohi, yes, Karen. I got it right. Karen, Nave? Karen. Karen's the one. Yeah, thanks. That's how it tells you how far back I am. Apologize. NSR Discord server. I'll have to join that one. I want to see what that's all about. Gotta get back to work. See you, Michael. Thanks for... Good to see you again. I really appreciate it. I hope all is well. Stay warm. Yohi thing should have been a wake-up call for some to question, are we the baddies? Dude. Yeah. As a very left-leaning individual, the content purity testing makes me hesitant to keep creating. How do you run Yohi out of Blue Sky because someone reviewed his adventure? No. Well, yes. But they didn't run him out because someone reviewed his adventure. They ran him out because he promoted that person reviewing his product. I mean, I know Tim knows that, but I'm just wanting to clarify because I think there's a subtle difference. Like, that's not like, I don't think they were mad at him because Ben reviewed his product. I think it was because he shared it to a stream and he ultimately deleted it. He's like, yeah, okay, it was a little bit out of bad taste. I shouldn't probably have, promoted it. But dude, that whole space, and I'm with you, Tim. And I think many people here are like more like us than the ones chasing off the folks off social media. Right? And like the grief he got was ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, and he was tired of it, and I don't blame him. You don't have to deal with that shit. Which sucks. He did what he did, and I think you got to do what you got to do, right? Like I don't need this. It's not good for me. Like mental health wise, I'm just gonna bail. I don't need this crap. And then the bad thing about it is the people that do appreciate him lose out because of the bad eggs. And I think some of those bad eggs need to be called out. Like, what are you doing? Hey, put your pitchfork away for a frickin' 10 minutes, would you? Like, here's the thing, too. Here's what I would really appreciate. If I were out of line, I would hope you guys would pull me aside and you wouldn't put me in the public square and then decide like, hey, everybody grab your rocks, all right? Pull me aside. Hey, dude, here's the deal. I think what you said was like way offline, and you're going to get a bunch of grief for it. It's not cool. It's not cool, Sean, what you did. Okay. All right. Cool. The rest of them, tell them to pound sand. Like, anyways, haters going to hate. Yeah, for sure. Whoa. Then everything jumps. Okay. Got up late, morning all. Tyler, good to see you. Totally just riffing today. No format, no structure, talking about RPG, podcasts, YouTubes, just stuff. So, yeah, I don't know if you're going to like the topic. It's not for everybody. Just keep doing you, Marjorie says. I like you, Marjorie. Thanks, Marjorie. You're awesome. I will listen to Space 1999 podcast. Analytic dice. There you go. Scroll. 1999. Runeslinger has a channel. Yes, he does. I forgot. I apologize. Runeslinger has a YouTube channel as well. Check it out. And a podcast, Hobbs says. Saltheart. What appeals to me, the people who love games like me, and folks who love to chat or argue about game mechanics and rules. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks, Kev. Gabe says, I want to hear more about your pets. Don't you change, Gabe. Don't you fucking change. That's, God damn it. I want more Star Trek glasses. And if you can't supply them, put me in touch with your wife, damn it. Too hilarious. Gabe's like, I wonder if I could get Sean totally like 0 viewers. Yeah. Hey, Sean, you should talk more about your cats. Oh, hilarious. It's growing, right? It's like as old as I am, looking to grow. What can I say? Hey, kids. Here's my lawn. Go nuts. Oh, too funny. I want to hear more about Gabe's pets. Hey, well, there you go. Runeslinger, I come for authenticity and lingering traces of vanilla Coke and stay for the interactions. Uh-oh. I got rid of vanilla Coke, man. I'm trying to weed myself off of that stuff. Conan O'Brien needs a friend. That's the one. Review Sean. Oh, my God. Gonna have to catch you on the flip side. See ya, RPG Gen Exile. Thanks for stopping by. Apologies if this was a little off the mark this week. It's a different one for sure. I've watched it on YouTube, but never occurred to me to me that it's an actual podcast. Roger, hey everyone, wanted to pop in and say hello. At page 2 this weekend, spending too much money. Very cool. Is pets a euphemism? No, Stefan, it's literally not. There was a comment, actually. That's how it all stemmed. I was doing a live stream, and I think Augie was still alive. I know Augie was still alive. And he was pawing at me or something and driving me crazy, so I went on a rant about my cat, and it was like, there was literally somebody that commented, like, came here for RBG stuff. All this guy did was talk about his cat. So I make it. Here's the thing. I found a new tactic to deal with people on the internet. You're going to love this. If you could try it and you can do it and you can execute it. If it's a weird comment or a slam, laugh. Laugh at them and think that they're joking. Right? So I had one that was Shadowdark. Like I did the one on, West Marches. Like, and I decided to use Shadowdark, and one person, like all the comments, like were, I'm doing this, I'm using that. But, that's great. Like I don't use Shadowdark, or I wouldn't do it that way. I do it this way, or I'm thinking about it, and It would be cool if I knew more about this. And then there's one guy, Shadowdark, ew, or something like that. And his handle is like BX Grognard or BX something, like, right? So obviously a big BX gamer, like, yay. I just think, you laugh at them and think that, like, they're making a joke. Think they're being sarcastic. Yeah, right, Shadowdark, that's cool. Like, freaking feed the trolls. Test Trek, good to see you. Good day, good morning, good whatever. Yeah, do that. Just think about it. Every time there's just this crappy, like, black, soulless keyboard jockey out there, just think that they're the funniest. Like, you don't take their context and just manipulate the crap out of it in your brain. Like, gotta run. See ya. Matt, loving today's show. Feels like conversation that would be had in person at cons. Indeed, for sure. That was my alt account. So you're the one that left the comment, Hobbs? I could smell it. Too funny. Anyways, I'm going to get going. It's 9:15. I have a game at 10, which is in 45 minutes. The Walking Dead with Hoos. That's where Hoos is. Hoos is usually here, but I'm just going to say skip today because he's prepping. Right? If I don't talk to you, Phil McClory, happy birthday. And I don't know. I apologize. I don't have anything to apologize for, I don't think. But I will say this. We were outside the realm today. So for those of you that kind of I am interested though in feedback. Like DM me something, I don't know. Send me an anonymous email. Like create some weird email and send it to me. If you don't want me to know who you are. But it's just got my head thinking like there's a lot of different things I could try. And it's not like, well, what are you trying to accomplish? It's just something that I think would be cool to do. And everybody like you would think it would be cool. Right? That's kind of the thing. Anyways, I want to thank all these folks that have supported me in many, many ways, to include financially as Patreons or subscribers, or I guess paid subscribers. What are they called here? I don't know. Supporters, paid supporters here on the YouTubes. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you to each and every one of you for showing up on Saturdays and keeping me company. I really appreciate it. I value each and every one of you. I don't want to take any of you for granted. Because I miss some of the people that I really like, that I don't see very often, that I've learned and had relationships from Gaming and BS. I was, waxing poetic about some of those individuals, and I know they're doing great. But anyways, and some of them have come back like, Stefan, I see you, Stefan. So if this is the first show, now somebody's going to tune in the first 5 minutes and be like, what? Okay, not for me. That's okay. I'll be here next week, 8 a.m. Central Time on this channel, talking about stuff. I don't know. Should I change the format for Saturdays? Like, is the crowdfunding, print news stuff kind of getting boring? It's been going on for a little while. I'm willing to change it up a little bit. We'll see. Maybe half of this and half of that. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I have an existential crisis of some kind. If you are at Gaming and BS or BS or Con, great. Thanks for coming and everything. And if you missed it, that's okay. If you want to, I'll try you again. Whoops. I'll try you again next stream to see what the usual topics and conversation is like. See you then. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Thanks for the second chance. Yeah, this is not the typical talk, if you will, for sure. So I appreciate you like not writing me off because you happen to show up on the wrong day when I just was like, I don't know what to talk about. I'm going to talk about this. Jake, good to see you. So some of you folks that were lying low, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby. We'll see you on the next one. Ciao.